AI-generated meditation. Extend your awareness to the drone sound. If you raise a strip into your bumping, and I want you to stretch out your temporary latitudes. You're obviously, and stretch them into the largest possible. And now in somewhat comfortable areas where the national water is a surface, says that there is a Category 4 storm on its way. Howdy, to extend your awareness into the heartland, into the hurricane. Didn't you? That hurt me. Were all the angels the better? You're not going to finish the wind. You're abandoning like a reed or a house or a person spying into the wind. Try not to laugh. There's no one here but us, she thought. Oh, no. We gotta extend our awareness into randomness. Into the sensible moth pose. And then maximum output. Category 4 output. Extend your awareness to the brood of cicadas that are trying to fuck above us. And then the other end of the whole city's coming with you if we have an hour left. So here goes. A few years back we were having this argument, and she's the only reason I got through my undergraduate program. Whoa, squirrel! It went something like, if you could live your life over, would you change anything about your past? She thought it over and looked around as though she might be missing something important, but finally she shook her head. No. And she paused for effect. And I wouldn't go back either. Now that really got us. I mean, you were at one time or another, everyone has had some big regrets they wish hadn't happened, and even the most devout people can think they might make one little thing a little different, and maybe two things, and suddenly that's their chance for redemption. But we're all agreed. No second chances. Not anyhow, and certainly not the big ones, and especially if they don't come from within yourself, which in many cases won't even work if they did. Which they don't. Which leaves you with this. The present, and what it is made of. Breathe in, breathe out. This minute you can see these 5 senses. The 3 are not as precise as we wish. Which perceive that present, and which will pass. Which was before this moment was a series of sensations, but they no longer exist. And what is happening in your body and brain at this very moment. Oh, gotta cross the street. Oh, God. This book reaches you. And then it stops. There is nothing that exists but the present. It is not easy for the average mind to accept this, and I can only speak of what has happened in my own head. For instance, if you said to someone, in a minute the clock is ticking, they will look up. They might blink or move slightly as if looking toward it, and they might try hard, but there will be no sense of immediacy, or now, or real time, or the future, or anything other than the next few moments when the next hand strikes the clock. When I tell people about what it means, they say something along the lines of, oh. That doesn't seem so bad, but what happens if I'm sitting on an airplane and it starts losing altitude? And I explain that the plane doesn't exist at that point because at some particular level, the passengers can still breathe, but below them they're falling faster than a bullet, down a well, until the seatbelt signs off in their lives, which are also over at that level. So breathe in and breathe out. This isn't much consolation, but you'll note that they haven't gotten very excited about death at this stage of the development, but you do notice that their intention flickers briefly and then they look away. They have been trained to ignore this stuff, and if someone told you about how they had a terrible experience with the dentist, or a bad marriage, or about a depression, and now they can barely function without talking about antidepressant, or just would this change anything? You'd think not right away, because they had already been told about these events which have taken place and caused them pain, so it must be true, right? But it takes more, and sometimes a long more. Some of them will get very interested in the issue when they hear this not too far out, maybe a decade or two, maybe. They will say, yeah, that's what makes people dangerous. But let's not worry about that. Let's get on with the story. Or meditation. The thing to understand here and now is how quickly your life passes by. 1 year and it seems like 20. 5 years seem longer. 100 and it seems like eternity. I guess we've known this forever and probably all along. But that's a lot of perspective to lose in one lifetime. The question I want answered here, the big one, how many of those hundreds of thousands of years does your consciousness survive? There you go. It might last less than a minute, probably more. Your heartbeat. If you believe the Bible, your life may be as short as an eye blink, and as I was just explaining, if you die before it happens, there's a reason, but I think we can skip over that. The more important thing here is, oh fuck, what if I'm wrong, and my mind continues, and maybe gets reborn to another body, and the new life just goes by just as fast? I don't think I could stand that, but what if it goes forever, like an infinite regress, and there's an infinite number of people living forever? I don't know about you, but me, that seems a waste of potential. I mean, intelligence to just go back over and over. It's on a brick. Interesting houses in this neighborhood. Like some stupid version of hell with endless repetitions of a finite time period. And why is it only the rich and famous and powerful are immortalized for posterity in museums? And where did that phrase come from? A man can spend his entire life running up a single bill. I wonder where that's from. But I think I understand it better now. And I'll ask the question once again, how do I die? Wow. Is it just one event? And it happens so fast it might be instantaneous? Or were you born dead with your whole self intact, except you're quite sure what your name or who you are yet? Breathe in, breathe out. Oh. Sorry. I mean, the whole point of being born is you wake up to a certain degree, but there's not that great difference. So you go to school, and it turns out you're in your late teens, and now your friends all look pretty old, and it hits you that your whole youth is spent chasing girls and getting high with your buddies. And now suddenly there's an awkwardness, and you wonder, who am I now? I still exist? And you try to find some memory of it, and it fades, and then there's the future, and you get married, start having kids, and they all die some years after you. Oh, what do I care anymore? Am I a stranger at my parents' dinner table, or do they even remember the person I was once? Or what we ever meant to each other? Breathe in, breathe out. Ooh. And the same question can be asked by any person, and they would say that their memories fade too, and their life becomes something like, what happened before that, and what's next? And it even seems that this is all of it, but is this even it? Not about religion. We don't really have that kind of control in the afterlife. Either way, we'll see about. Either way, we will see about a year or so and decide. Wait a little bit. Sorry. Thing is to figure it out while you still have your own body to go to. I've been doing this. Maybe I should have been at the first question. Maybe if we had the answer to this question and understood what would come next, we could deal with it. But what if we didn't? This book was the best I could do. My own brain. You will have to decide yourself if it worked. Breathe in, breathe out. No, got it. It's not, you won't be hearing my ideas for what comes afterwards, or even if there will be one, or if you might not have enough information to make that decision, but you have to believe me now, you need the rest. Just get some sleep. I'll try to get you a copy of the collected essays of Thomas Alva Edison when it's published, maybe a year or two. That will have all your questions about it right there on the back cover of your favorite paperback. I'll get you thinking, right? Look. There are people who can tell what it means. The guy who found it and put it together is a friend of mine. I don't want to get the impression that we're all crazy, not at all. This has been happening for hundreds, probably thousands of years, and the few that know are mostly scientists and some priests and philosophers and historians, and some are very small but smart. But most of this, I haven't figured it out. Oh, network issues. You have network issues. Oh, ooh. Okay, hold on. There's network issues. But the world changes when it does. You've got to take your place now. Maybe that we can never understand this. And it's not possible for you, and that's okay. We can do the research later and learn how this all came about, and it's at all possible. There have been a few hints and some guesses that there are ways to prolong consciousness, but they're mostly speculation at this point. They have had a big impact in certain religions. Maybe that hasn't changed the face of civilization. I don't mean just science. We've known for thousands of years that when a volcano explodes and you die instantly or fall off a roof or get caught up in a train crash, your life will end in the next moment, and that's gone. You're nothing now. Breathe in, breathe out. And the world will keep going without you, even if your life goes on for another few hours, are suddenly very significant, and all this matters a lot more than you can know. And maybe no one knows. Maybe no one knows. Maybe we all just go on living not knowing what the real reason was. It could have mattered. It could still matter. But it will leave that to some other life or whatever might come next, or next person you meet. It is your opposite, your twin. And it's you. And that you, there might be no way to stop you from reading these words, or something from writing them, or saying something maybe. So you'd be better be ready for this to all change soon, because it could, if you live long enough, and your children and your offspring too. I can't tell you much about the after, the real after, because it's like a different dimension, and the only proof I've seen is that there's an it. There are those who say that we perceive as life doesn't exist in this new dimension. Oh, sliver. And the ones who have crossed and returned are always changed, and I guess we could all get the chance, but maybe it's worth trying it, so that you're aware of this possibility and know why it matters. This life you live in is like a dream, and dreams don't last very long, and sometimes they go a very long time. And then all the details of that particular one becomes a blur in the fog. But the fact that it ends and you wake up, or not, I don't want to give the idea that the future might have the exact same details that are happening now. Anything like that. Oh! Anything like that. We find that it's too much for any one mind, and I suspect the future is going to be that clear. But you might have something better than a nightmare if you're lucky, and if you hope you do, and I think there's some comfort in this, but we'll talk about that. Hold on, I'm just gonna get some money. Oop. Oh, sorry. Oh. Oh, okay. Oops. I hope it helps, but there is a price. I don't know who's watching me right now, but you should pay attention. Read this book carefully. This is a great opportunity. It's important. If not now, then when? I was wondering what happened next, how long you would wait, how this is now, anyway. Maybe that wasn't the most polite question to ask, but if I don't answer, what is? We got all our opinions, I suppose, about how many lives can a human survive and whether or not you can go out to death. I've always been those ideas about the nature of existence, but they can be very dangerous, even though they can be wrong, because we aren't able to see what's going to happen in past is future, but reversed. Maybe that isn't what we need to know.
I don't think I've ever seen a policeman forever.
You'll probably all see it at some time or the next life and find out, but I may have been easy to story all that here in my book, which I hope you've done. Because you're probably in the hospital and this has to end. You need a doctor. This may take a while. It's very strange, but we'll take turns with the machines for a little bit. But the truth is we need your input. The first time I was born, that part was like any of my others, but maybe not as intense because it's not my story. I'm still the one who has to do the work of figuring it all out. It may take me the rest of my days, but it isn't my problem anymore. But this one, if you've come to me and are reading this, I'm dead and you can't hear me, but I'll see you when I get back. I'm sure that'll be pretty soon. It might be tomorrow, or the day before, or maybe just happen. I hope you've had enough rest, that poor bastard. You need your help. and you'll do what I have to. That's all I wanted to say. This one too. I hope you've read this far and understood what it is that we have to do, all of us together, if we are to make any difference at all. And the thing about this, it is the same for all of us, and we really don't know what we're supposed to do when we begin, where to begin, or when. I hope we can find the right place and the way, and do what needs to be done, because that means so much. If we succeed, then this whole business about dying, the pain and all that might just be a memory for someone. It may be that we're just passing it on in the end. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Until you get tingles. But I know that there's no more time for this. This one is the last. The last. You don't have a choice, and if you're to do it, you need this. I can tell you this. You are the reason they exist at all, and the real rest. So there are people who have tried. Some were successful, but some died, as you're going to, as they always did, because they could not complete the process. Spoilers. Now, this too will change, and maybe the details, but it is your choice if you want it now. If you don't, it may all come again later, and you won't get a second chance to try. And maybe this one is the bad choice for you, and it doesn't hurt at all, I swear. Or I guess it might be a lie. So here's what I want you to understand what's coming. If we can find it or create the next version of ourselves, whatever is right is the real beginning. This, you could argue, is just another life, and we all die in a couple hundred years, and if this is a dream, then you're dreaming, and that makes me happy. Or it could be you. If you can feel your own body, you're asleep, maybe. Nuance. You don't know, not yet. And we're only guessing because there hasn't been enough time, so this is the first chance. We can't wait until we get it right. There's nothing left to learn from our lives, that's why. But it could be that there's plenty of learning in this, so if this one works, you're a person now. It'll matter forever. If this one doesn't work, then you have a new start. Breathe in, breathe out. And if we all do it, if we do all of it, one who dies has given something to all that lives, and they live forever. That would mean you have given everything to this, and you're going to get it all every last moment, and an eternity that won't stop, because you'll always know what it's like and how you're going to get there, and all the other ones too, and then some. It's not a bad feeling to have, to give everything to that kind of life. Might not be yours. I tell you that. Now that you're in hospital, I hope it's nice. You don't need anything. You're alive. That's all. Well, like that. And there's no difference. There's really none at all. Not yet. It'll happen one day. I'm wrong. And if I'm having any doubts about that, I'll kill myself. But that's important. That's all. Probably can be more. Just do it right. And remember it. That you gave everything you have, everything. Do it. And if you don't mind, this has already lost quite a while. That is the last part of this. It may have been a long time, but you are not a child, and we're all of us the same, and I think it was enough. You will know that in your heart in a moment. We can wait. We have to know. If you have questions about what I have said or need to ask and even just wish to leave this place, please go. This may be it, if it's possible. And we'll all meet here in another room when this is all done and see if there's any way we can stay together after that. That might help. You'll know soon enough, and this may have been hard, I don't know. It isn't supposed to be, or at least I never thought so. The truth is that I can't say how many of you we are and where the first one started out, what's different. Because it just shows me damn ways to get to the point. And even if we had infinite resources and infinite patience, it would still help us. Not with the choices we have now, but a little time. You have to figure out who to choose to become. And when you do decide, you don't know if it will make a difference, but there isn't any choice. Not for me or for anyone. It's that simple, and you'll understand that. That much you will know. We all know what happens, so please do this and be quick. And okay, do this and be quick, because there's some time to spare or wait. Gotta keep moving forward, and hope we'll find a way. If one fails, we might as well just sit back and wait for them to catch up. I hope that helps a little. This was the last book of its type, but maybe it was good enough that they kept making it, because I'm sure there's still copies somewhere, and there will always be more people, more ideas, so I hope it helps a little bit, and if you understand it all. It's the last book or the final book, and we're sorry to end the story this way, and I hope it didn't hurt too much. Though sometimes we're told we're doing what's right for the rest of them. And it can seem so strange and difficult to imagine someone could do this. It doesn't make a difference in the end if we do it or not. It may help. I don't know why we have so much to tell you, but it's all the truth. That last part was alright. I hope you like it. We will miss each other. I know we should. It hurts. This book will help a little, but maybe it wasn't what you were hoping. This was all written down in case it's helpful. If you want to talk right, we'll try to reply. I'm glad that you read the books and tried and made it this far. Tried and made it this far. Prepare for a buzz. Tried and made it this far. If it makes a little sense, it won't be like anything else, but it may have helped somehow. Whoa! Hold on. Ah! It helped. Somehow, there are other ways now. There'll be more stories, and I hope we meet in the real world and we can help each other because we can all understand and might just matter. This has already changed things, and there'll probably be more. We will find a way someday. Okay, I'm done.